to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear the unbearable sorrow, and to run where the brave dare not to go. These words remind us that true success begins when we dare to dream beyond the fear, rise above the limits, and chase a purpose even when the path seems uncertain. For it is through dedication, determination, and devotion that dreams find direction and destiny takes shape.
A very warm welcome and cheerful evening to one and all present here. It is indeed a moment of immense joy and pride to welcome you all to the vibrant campus of Sri Balaji University, Pune, a place that radiates discipline, determination, and dreams in motion. Today, this auditorium is not just filled with people, it's brimming with energy, aspirations, and the spirit of togetherness that defines our Balaji family. We are gathered here for an event that celebrates learning, leadership, and the power of inspiration.
A very good evening, everyone. I am Atharva Karaskhade, a junior student manager from Balaji Institute of Management and Human Resource Development, specializing in finance.
And I, Shrishti Patle, a junior student manager of Balaji Institute of Management and Human Resource Development, also specializing in finance, are delighted and honored to be your masters of ceremony for this special tea and tree session alumni interaction.
On behalf of entire Balaji family, it gives us immense pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our guests, respected faculty members, and our fellow student managers. Your presence truly elevates the spirit of this gathering.
What makes today's event even more special is that our guest is not just a global leader, but one of our own. We take great pride in welcoming back our illustrious alumnus, Mr. Dheeraj Raina of batch 2004-06, President and Head of Integrated Marketing and Communications, Southeast Asia, MasterCard. Sir's incredible journey from being a student at this very university to leading marketing and communication strategies for one of the world's most trusted financial brands stand as a true inspiration for all of us. His true story reflects the core essence of Balaji values: discipline, determination, and dedication.
To express our gratitude, we would like to invite President and Vice President of BMHRD Student Council to kindly present a bouquet as a token of appreciation to our proud alumnus of our institute, Mr. Dheeraj Raina, sir.
Sri Balaji University Pune stands as a living symbol of discipline, perseverance, and transformation. Here, every student manager is nurtured to rise beyond limitations through rigorous corporate exposure, mentorship programs, and holistic training. We take pride in saying that Balaji ecosystem doesn't just prepare us for jobs, it prepares us for life.
Adding another feather to our cap, SBUP has once again achieved a stellar recognition in the Times B School Survey 2024. We are proud to share that SBUP has been ranked in the Indian Ranking 2025 Management, that is NIRF, under the transformative leadership of Chancellor Professor B. Paramanandan sir.
And now, to introduce our remarkable guest, I would now like to invite student manager Remy Basak to take the stage.
Good evening to one and all present over here. I, Remy Basak from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, Junior Student Manager at Balaji Institute of Management and Human Resource Development, pursuing finance, would like to extend my warm welcome to our distinguished guest. We are truly honored to have with us a remarkable leader and a proud alumnus of Sri Balaji University, Mr. Dheeraj Raina, Senior Vice President and Head of Integrated Marketing and Communications, Southeast Asia at MasterCard. With over 18 years of global experience, Mr. Raina had led marketing, branding, and business growth for leading organizations across India and Southeast Asia. His journey includes impactful roles at LG Electronics, Mindshare, Dentsu Media, Malaysia, and as Chief Marketing and Strategic Communication Officer at Petronas Clean Energy Arm. He has mentored startups, developed proprietary marketing framework, and was featured in Campaign Asia's prestigious 40 Under 40 list, recognizing outstanding marketing and communication leaders in Asia Pacific. Sir, it is a privilege to welcome you back to your alma mater. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Dheeraj Raina. Sir, the stage is all yours.
Or I can take the hand mic as well. Can I take your mic? Are you okay? Are you receiving your mic? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Okay, first of all, thank you so much for gathering. It's lovely. I mean, for me, it's very nostalgic. Uh, I was actually having a reunion dinner with some of our pioneer batchmates yesterday in Mumbai. And I think for almost non-stop 16 hours, we were just talking about it was ICMHRD that time. So you will see I will keep talking a lot about ICMHRD because that was the college. I don't think so any of you know it was ICMHRD before it became BIMHRD, right? So thank you so much, first of all, for having me here. I wouldn't have imagined it will take me around 18, 19 years to come back to campus. When I was last here in this campus, this building does not exist. There was only the hostel building that was getting ready. And we did not even study here. So our campus was absolutely somewhere else, and I'll tell you all the stories about that. But before that, my name is Dheeraj Raina, and I'm from the pioneer batch of what you now know as BIMHRD. Our batch started this college, like literally started this college. We, along with Bala sir, did the Havan where we started ICMHRD, and there was no college, there was no bricks and mortar. It was all imagination of that great person and the 180 students that had decided to follow his vision at that point of time. So that's all this university it was not even a university, this college was all about. So since then to now, it is absolutely very, very, very emotional and nostalgic for me. So thank you so much for having me. As I told you, I joined ICMHRD as the pioneer batch student. I was part of what we used to call that time the placement team, PAT. I was told PAT doesn't exist anymore, it's CRT now, I believe. But we used to have a PAT and we used to have a CRT separate. So I used to run placement team at that point of time, and me along with the 180 students kind of started this college. I come from Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. That's where my hometown is. I moved to Pune for my bachelor's. I did my bachelor's in pharmaceutics from D.Y. Patil College, Pune University. And then I decided to do my MBA from this particular college in marketing. I majored in marketing that time. And that's where my journey started with marketing here, yeah. So today, obviously, I'm not gonna, I was very clear that I don't want to do any presentations. I just want to speak with you. And you are absolutely free to ask me any questions, okay? If you guys want, we can switch off the camera and go offline as well, in case you want to ask me any questions that you feel should not go on record. But yes, I believe if I look back 18 years, I was like one of you. The only difference was we didn't have the air-conditioned, nice auditorium that time. It was a massive, big, open-air hall where we used to sit and construct our dreams of what we wanted to do and what we wanted to be. I don't think anybody at that point of time in our batch would have even imagined where we are today or even how we reached there. So it's an incredible story of resilience, passion, persistence, and consistently believing in the power of your dreams. That's what I tell everybody in our batch. Because joining an institute which has absolutely zero pedigree. I mean, the only pedigree we had was Balasar. That's it. There was nothing else. And then putting your dreams and your career in the hand of that college and then working towards that, I think it's a story that I want to make a movie around someday, if I ever get to. Yeah. So I completely understand where you are right now, and which is why I want to give you more time to ask me questions. And I hope you have questions, because if you don't have, I will pick you and ask you to ask me a question. So please be ready with your questions and thoughts. But before that, I can tell you the journey of our story, how we started. So our college started back in 2004. I still remember 8th of July. That was the day when we first came. By the way, our batch still celebrates 8th of July as our coming together day. Wherever we are, whichever part of the world we are, that day we make sure that we do a WhatsApp video call to everybody and whoever can join. And next year we will complete 20 years of we being together. So we're planning a massive reunion amongst our batch at least. So the journey started. Do you know where did the college start? Where was our campus? Has anyone done any Google search? Where was it? Railway station? That's your neighbors. We never got to go to railway station as well. So railway station was IIMM. Where did ICMHRD start? Sorry? We had no Viman. Yerwada was also your neighbors. All the luxuries was with neighbors. No, nobody knows it. Does Google even know this? Have you tried Googling where was ICMHRD first started? Okay. So our first campus, because when we joined, obviously IIMM was also in its, what Balasa used to call a transitionary campus, because he obviously had this in mind and he was trying to build this, and this was the vision that he was working towards. That place obviously did not have enough space to have another 180 people that were coming in. So we were asked to start our college life from this top penthouse. I'm calling it penthouse. It was not a penthouse, but I would like to believe it was a penthouse in Kondwa. Okay? So if you ever get a chance to go to Kondwa, there is a restaurant in Kondwa called Jyoti Restaurant. Is anybody from Kondwa here? No, anyone gone to Kondwa ever? You been? Do you know where is Jyoti Restaurant? Yeah, you know? So the top floor of Jyoti Restaurant, that's where the college was. That's where we started. So it was the top floor of that commercial building, which had 2 chaiwalas, okay? Which had one beauty parlor, and it had ICMHRD. Okay, that was the building. That's where we started on 8th of July 2004. We stayed in that campus for 1.5 years. Obviously, my batch never got to come here because by the time this came up, our batch had already left. And a batch after us, which was the, I think it was called trendsetters. We were called pioneers. They were called trendsetters. So they, I think, came here only for maybe 6-7 months. So nobody, no one in our college has any memory of this particular place except the placement time. Because placements is what happened here in this campus. And Bala sir was very clear that time that he wanted all the companies to come and see the new campus, even though the new campus was not ready. But he wanted to show them the power of the vision of what, Sri Balaji Society was becoming into. So therefore, every day morning, we would bring all students from Kondwa to this campus, and they will all sit outside. Only the hostel part was ready at that time, so we had all the hostel rooms opened up. People would go there. People would put up their jackets and everything else and go for the interviews for the placement time. So that's the only memory my batch at least has of this place. So that's basically where we started. And I would really urge you to go to Kondwa, and I mean, not that you will find anything there, but you might still see some Garba night markings on the wall and all of other things that used to happen that time, right? That was the only way we used to keep ourselves busy. So that was the first part. So when we joined on 8th of July, obviously, it was Bala sir's vision, and he was very passionate about what ICMHRD or BIMHRD could become into. And that passion somehow was absolutely transferred into each and every 180 students that came into the play, because it was now almost a baton which was passed on to the batch to say, now go and seize the world. Because there was nothing else. It was a new director, we had a new deputy director, our placement coordinator or placement head was new, the placement team was new, administrative people were new, everybody was new except obviously the support that we got from IIMM that time, whether that was Bala sir, Biju sir, Suresh Padi sir, or Dimple ma'am at that point of time. So everybody in our batch had to take this responsibility of making something out of ICMHRD. And I think that's really the story of what I was mentioning, the resilience and everything. What we did not know when we started was, so the day we came into the college, let me give you an anecdote. I don't know if you have heard about it. When we came in, Bala sir gave us a slogan. He said, you are corporate commandos. Has anyone heard of this term, corporate commandos? Are you guys still aware of it? Yeah? Okay. We did not know what he meant when he said corporate commandos. I thought that was a war cry, which he wanted us to kind of get excited about. It's only the next day when we started the college, we realized he literally wanted us to be commandos. Can you imagine what time our day started? What time does your day start, by the way? 9? Okay. What time would have our day started? Sorry? 8 o'clock? Yeah? At 7:05, our administrative lead, Bina ma'am, would lock the doors of that top floor of ICMHRD. Like literally lock it at 7:05. And if you are in the college at 7:05, you are in until 9 o'clock at night. If you are out, you are absent for 1 day, and that adds up to your, do you still have these red lists and all that? You have? Okay, yeah. At least something is continued. So if you missed getting in through that grilled door at 7:05, you are in the red list for placements. Okay? 7:05 is when yoga used to start. And then it used to go on for almost around 40-45 minutes. The favorite part of yoga for everyone was Shavasana. Yeah? Because that's when everyone would get to sleep and then enjoy that part of the yoga. So 7:05 we used to get locked into this place, and we could only go out at 9 p.m. Yeah. And some of our most boring lectures used to be 8 to 9. So that's when we got to know what Corporate Commando was all about. It was about leading a life of rigor. It was about leading a life of a lot of resilience and still seeing it through. Because you could have gone back and said, sorry, I don't want to do MBA. I'll run a shop at home or something else. So that was what Corporate Commando for us was all about. I mean, right now, I realize that you guys clapped twice. Can you guess how many times we used to clap when someone from corporate used to come? Do you have a concept called corporate clap? Yes. Okay, all right, great. I'm happy something else is continuing. We, at one point of time, have clapped 35 times because 2 of our batchmates were out of sync in the corporate clap. So they were doing either the 3rd clap or the 4th clap or the 5th clap, not right. So when I was hired by LG, in fact, I mentioned this. I said one of my strengths is clapping because I don't think I can ever get wrong with that. I have clapped so much in last 18 months that yeah, this is really my strength. So it was really, and now when I look back upon it, I'm so thankful that we did this, because the world I was getting into was absolutely more brutal than that 7 to 9 schedule. It was more brutal. And therefore, I think all of us, I don't know, do you have Vipassana? No? Oh, welcome to my world. We had a 10-day mandatory Vipassana course in Igatpuri, in Nasik. Do you guys know Igatpuri in Nasik? There's a very popular Vipassana center there. It was part of curriculum. It was something that the attendance was marked for. And 30% of our batchmates ran away from that Vipassana center on day 3, day 6, day 7, and so on. And once again, when I look back upon those days and why we were forced to do Vipassana was because probably listening was the most important skill set we had to ever acquire in our life. Imagine 10 days of no speaking. Do you know what Vipassana is? No? So it's basically 10 days of silence. You can't talk. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They give you some meditation exercises and stuff and all that which you do. Then they give you to eat bananas. Then they get you to do meditation again. Then they again give you bananas. Then you again do meditation. And you sleep at 5 o'clock in the evening. And throughout this entire period, you don't talk. If you talk, they have these people in the Vipassana center with these small bells. You know the bells that we ring in the temples or other places? If you're talking, they will come to you and they will ring the bell in front of you, basically warning you. And if you got, let's say for example, if you spoke and you did not comply to the rules, they would send you home. And if you were sent home, college would put you in the red list. So everything eventually ended up to the red list. So that really was the building blocks of what I believe was very, very, very important. So 9 o'clock, my friends, is a luxury. It is a massive luxury that you should absolutely be, I wouldn't say you should be proud of, but you should feel happy about. What time do you guys end the day? Wow, even offices don't end at 4:30. So yeah, so that's really, I think, how ICM HRD and how BIM HRD came to play and how we started our life. And like I said, after that, wherever life took us, we would always look back upon those 18 months in the college and said, we are trained for it. We can do it. And probably that's why most of the people in my batch have been probably highest performers in whatever phase of life they have been in, whether they are in corporate life, whether they are in, in cinema, arts, entertainment, entrepreneurship. And whenever I talk to them, everybody keeps talking about the same thing. The fact that we were corporate commandos, the fact that we started our day at 7 o'clock. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you that our life was more miserable and therefore I'm jealous of your life, but all I'm telling you is that there was a vision behind why that was done, and that realization only came to play when we started getting into the corporate world, and it allowed us to absorb all the intensity of what was coming our way. So therefore, you should also brace up yourself for that. In your own way, you don't have to start at 7 o'clock. World has changed. The needs of the world have changed. The way we do work has changed. But only thing that has not changed is the expectation of resilience from everyone. That the outside world out of this college will always expect from you. Because the corporate world is changing. So my first job was LG Electronics. LG Electronics used to be our top placement company. It used to be a day zero company. Something that Bala sir would personally come and sit for when they used to come for placement. In fact, our vice president HR at that point of time, Yashovi Verma and Bala sir were very close friends, because I think LG had been picking up some of the top students from the college since the time I think IIM started. So that was my first job. I got into marketing in LG. LG has a headquarter in Greater Noida in Delhi. That's where I used to work. I used to do product marketing for air conditioners. I had a chance of being in Korea, South Korea, for almost like 6-7 times during that time. And this was one place where I found so many people from Shri Balaji Society. It was almost like home when you go to LG. You go to a certain department and you see this particular senior who was hired from IIMM. You go to a certain department and you see this particular person who was hired from ICIB that time. I think they are called now what is it called? BIIB now, yeah. So it was a great sense of pride. And for someone who was just walking into the corporate world, seeing alumni, even if they are not from your own institute, but from the same family, was a great comforting thing. So I did 2 years in LG, and I thought that I was getting too strategic too early in my life. I was part of the product marketing team. I was based in headquarters. I was visiting global headquarters, and I was presenting to the CEO of LG every 3 months. And I therefore started realizing that I was somewhere getting disconnected from the execution part of the life where the rubber hits the road, and I was getting too strategic in life. And that's when I decided that I will take a switch, and I moved into content, because content was very, very big at that point of time. Content marketing, and this I'm talking about 2008, 2009. Content marketing was becoming very big in India. YouTube was not there. It was there, but it was not really that popular as a platform. There was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, and I'm so thankful it wasn't there. And there was no other social media at all. So that's when I decided that I want to go and do some more executional work and executional know-how. I joined a content startup back in Mumbai, and I used to produce television reality shows. I used to produce music reality shows. For that time, it was called Star Plus. I don't know what is it called now. Sony, Z, and all these big television channels that time. There was no digital, so we never did digital work that time. So I did that work for 4 years, and obviously when you are in a startup, you realize you join as a product marketing person, but you end up doing everything, right? I was a line producer on a certain day. I was doing makeup and touch-up of Ayushmann Khurrana on some day, and I was doing some day just showrunner stuff and all that. But that, again, gave me a big learning that getting your hands dirty and rolling up your sleeves is very important, because that's where you understand how our strategies really meet the consumers, right? And where the gap is and everything. So from there, I then made a switch. I moved to advertising. I joined Mindshare India. I don't know if you've heard of Mindshare. Anybody? No? Have you heard of WPP? Have you heard of Ogilvy? No? So nobody is going to get placed in advertising world here, is it? No interest in advertising? Nobody is interested in advertising. You don't want to make great ads? What do you guys want to do? How many of you are from marketing? What's your dream company? Tell me, a few of you. Deloitte, is that where you're placed for your internship? Not yet, okay. What else? Tell me, is there a dream company or not yet? No? So that was actually a first question we were asked when we joined ICMHRD. We were asked to tell what was our dream company. I had to write it down on my application. Anybody from marketing or even HR? What's your dream company? Anyone has a dream company? Oh, sure, thank you. It was never mine, by the way. Yeah, tell me. I think you raised the hand at the back. Sorry? Okay. Are you from finance? Okay, all right. At least some have. Others have maybe, 12 months to figure out what your dream company is? So yeah, so I joined advertising, and I joined the media side of advertising. So Mindshare is, by the way, world's largest media agency, India's largest media agency. They handle, rather used to handle all the media planning, buying, and strategy for some of the biggest brands in the country, Unilever, Kellogg's, and all big brands that you can think of. So I joined them. I was in the strategy team. I used to lead strategy for some of the largest brands in the country, Bajaj, Auto, Kellogg's, Aditya Birla Group, Idea Cellular, and a lot of others as well, Star, Book My Show, all of these brands. And that's how I then moved to Malaysia. I was given a career move within Mindshare. I was asked to lead the strategy for Mindshare Malaysia. And then I grew within Mindshare. I became the general manager and then became the managing director of the same agency. Then I moved to another big media group called Dentsu, which is a Japanese media agency group. I was the CEO of their media brands. And then I moved back to my corporate marketing side of life, and now with MasterCard, leading marketing for Southeast Asia, which is one of the fastest growing regions in Asia Pacific. So 10 markets within Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos, and Brunei. So yeah, the journey from that getting locked in at 7:05 to now leading marketing for 10 of the largest consumer markets in Asia Pacific. That's the story. Yeah? I had always said, thank you. I wanted this session to be a more Ask Me Anything session. Do you guys do hashtag AMA? Yeah? You guys are cool with that? No? You don't do it on Instagram, TikTok? Oh, TikTok doesn't exist in India. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I wanted to do it more like that, but I was told I have to speak, so I have spoken. Now it's your turn. Ask me anything. And I'm going to judge my junior batch by the kind of questions they're going to ask. Or rather, the number of questions that you will ask. How are we doing on time? Are we okay? Are we okay on time? Taken exactly 30 minutes. Come on, I'm the first batch of this college. You can ask me literally anything.
Good evening, sir. My name is Om Khose, studying in MHRD, specializing in finance. My question is, what were some turning points in your career that lead you to a leadership role in such a global organization?
Turning points in career? Yes, sir. Quite a few of them, yeah. The first turning point was I had never wanted to do marketing. So I was a pharmacy student. I did bachelor's in pharmaceutics. My dream was always to go to US, do master's in my pharmaceutics, and one day work for NASA. I wanted to make medicines for astronauts. That was my dream, by the way, in case you are curious. So marketing was never ever in any of my thinkings, right? Are you guys aware of this test that happens called GRE? You heard of it? Yeah, okay. So I was preparing for GRE, like I was crazy, passionate about GRE. I studied at Dilip Oaks for almost, does Dilip Oaks still exist in Pune? No? Okay. So Dilip Oaks used to be the premier training institute for, it used to be the quota factory of GRE basically, right? Like how you have quota factory for IIT. So I went there for almost 1.5 years, studied really hard, wanted to do this. And the year I wanted to give my GRE exam is when 9/11 happened in US. Are you guys familiar with 9/11, right? Such a tragic thing. And obviously when that happened, they canceled all the sponsorships for non-American students, and I was told that if I have to go into one of the universities, I will have to fund it myself, and there was no way I could have done it. So that is when I was almost kind of disheartened that, oh my God, this is what my life was, and there's nothing else. And because I had prepared so much for GRE, I decided that I will sit for CAT. I'm presuming all of you have come from CAT, right? Or have at least given CAT. So I sat for CAT because it was like 3 months away from my GRE test. I said, okay, leave it. At least I will get to write my whatever knowledge I had gained in last year. So I got into CAT. I cleared it. I then applied for 2 institutes. I will not name the other institute where I was going to go. But I somehow got dragged into believing the fact that ICMHRD was the place where I needed to come to. And that's when I realized that marketing was exactly the thing I wanted to fall in love with always. So when I came here, I studied marketing for the first time. I had never studied it. And when I got into LG is when I realized this is what I was meant to do. So I would say that was one of the biggest turning points in my career. I could have, sulked all my life and said, oh my God, I wanted to go to NASA, but I think you always get your calling if you are resilient. Yeah?
Good evening, sir. My name is Nandini Agarwal. I'm from BMHRD Marketing. So my question for you is, sir, what are the things that you wish you knew when you first started your career?
Interesting question. So I would say one of the few things, rather than what I knew, I would say things that probably somebody had told me not to push too much attention on, I would have known. One thing that was very, very endemic at our time was this question that everybody would come and ask you saying, where do you see after 5 years down the line, right? And we used to work really hard about thinking, where do I see myself 5 years down the line? It's only when I started working, I realized beyond 18 months, there is nothing in your control. Nothing. And I think COVID was a great reminder of that. I remember when I was in 2016 working for Mindshare, we were making 2022 vision. There was this vision document we used to prepare on strategy saying, this is my 2022 vision. I want to hit these many $1 billion of revenue. I want to do this. I want to hit these many activations. And bang, in March 2020, COVID came. All PPTs were deleted forever, right? So I would say that. So my biggest learning in life has been that as much as people will tell you to have these long-term, long vision goals, and I believe this is more important for the younger generations that are coming in, because at times you might feel a lot anxious if you start thinking about 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So in pursuit of future, you will actually miss what is available with you at the present. So my biggest learning is I don't think beyond 18 months. I plan for 18 months when I'm even in my marketing as well. For my own campaigns, I plan for 12 to 18 months. And that's the answer I can give you where I feel that. So I would say that was my biggest learning, that you absolutely enjoy and live the future, the present right now, rather than stressing too much about, what will I do after 10 years? Will I become a CEO after 18 years? That doesn't matter. Your destiny will take you where it is supposed to take you, as long as you're putting your efforts in.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have one more question.
Sure.
Sir, as you were in advertisement, I have interest in advertisement. So can you please suggest some?
तो हाथ क्यों नहीं उठाया पहले?
Sorry. Can you please suggest some skills or what the things I should focus for advertising?
For advertising?
Yes, sir.
To get into? See, advertising is all about storytelling. I think the first thing you need to have in you is that imaginary brain. Yeah? तो पहले तो कहानी सुनाओ. जितने लोग मिलते हैं ना आसपास, उनको कहानियां सुनाना शुरू करो. ठीक है? And not even advertising actually. Honestly, everybody who's in the marketing batch, if you are not curious and if you cannot imagine, then you will not do justice to marketing. Marketing is 70% science, 30% art. You will never ever in your life get 100% data to make a data-based decision for yourself. You have heard of this thing called marketeer's intuition, right? A lot of us still make decisions based on that intuition. And that intuition will only come if you can imagine. So start imagining. Think of ideas. A lot of times we get bound by this whole data and looking at numbers, getting distracted by technology. I will tell you, from the time I walked out of from this institute to now, every 4 years, our industry was disrupted by a certain technology. When I walked out of here in 2006, 2008, 2009 is when social media came in. Nobody had a clue of what it was. So you had to adapt to that particular thing. Then after 4 5 years, this entire thing about blockchain came in. And everybody was going crazy about blockchain and what are we going to do about blockchain. And today, everybody is going crazy with AI. What are we going to do with AI? What will AI do and stuff? So you have to accept the fact that our industry, every 4 years, will get disrupted by technology. As a marketer, your role is to not get distracted by that. What has not changed in the last 20 years is the way consumers consume brands, right? They still go through that process of awareness, interest, decision making, and advocacy. It's just that that journey is not linear anymore. A lot of times as a consumer, you first buy a product and only then get aware of the product. Like for example, social media. If somebody is selling something on Instagram, you're like, oh my God, this lipstick is great, I need to buy this. Only after you have bought it is when you start researching about it, finding more about it. So the consumer journey from being linear is now completely non-linear, and therefore don't get distracted by the tech disruption. Use that as an enabler. And one thing that you should always carry with you is your power of imagination and your curiosity. If you have these two things in yourself, you will do amazing in advertising or marketing. Yeah?
Good evening, sir. My name is Shivani Verma. I'm specializing in marketing. My question to you is, what leadership principles have guided you while managing teams across different countries in Asia?
Yeah. So not just as a leader, I think just as a professional, you need to have certain value systems. Value systems, we a lot of times we talk about our skills that, oh, I know marketing very well, I know analytics very well, I know data very well. But trust me, when companies will start hiring you, they will look at your leadership patterns from a value system perspective. What do you stand for? And therefore, there has to be a certain value system in you that you always believe in. For me, it has always been about ownership and integrity, these two things. I have always believed that if I'm put in a job, irrespective of whatever the job is, it is now my problem and I will own the outcome of it, okay? I have never believed that I should externalize my ownership. And second, obviously, is integrity. When you work for an organization, your biggest North Star has to be thinking for the betterment of that organization. It does not matter what you believe as an individual is right. You have to always do what is right for the company because that's what you're working for, right? And therefore, you have to keep your personal biases around from a leadership perspective and always be objective. So I would say from my experience, ownership and integrity, these are non-negotiable if you want to be a leader that is known for his or her value system. What else? This side is sleeping. I'm going to come to you guys now. I'll actually walk there. Yes? Yeah. हाँ मैं सुन रहा हूँ मैं भाग नहीं रहा यार स्टेज से हाँ or rather was at that time dream company. I mean, it is still a dream company for me because it's the first company I joined, right? So I have absolutely very, very, very special love for LG, for a brand. I still buy only LG products, by the way. I'm so obsessed with my first company. Do you have more question for me? Can I answer you now? Okay, great. So yeah, so I was from science background. I used to love science. It is when this is where I want to give a lot of credit to what ICMHRD at that point of time really gave us. When we started studying marketing, and obviously at that point of time, everybody was very fresh to marketing. I don't know if you guys still read Philip Kotler. Trust me, you should every day take one page from Philip Kotler, mix it with your green tea, and drink it. It has changed my life. Wherever I go, any university or college where I go, or any time I go for hiring, the first thing I ask people from marketing is if they have studied Philip Kotler. It is, and again, people might have a very different opinion on what books are relevant at this point of time or not. But that time, Philip Kotler changed my view of marketing completely. I started realizing that marketing was not just about doing an ad. It was not about building a campaign. I realized that the real power of marketing was changing the behavior of consumers. You know, that's what marketing is all about. As a marketeer, you have a very special power that you can change the behavior of a certain consumer. I mean, think of how brands have told us all these things. Many years back, we used to brush how many times? 1 time a day, right? Then Colgate came and told you should brush 2 times. You need to brush in the morning, you need to brush at night before you go to bed. Then later on, they came and told you should brush every time you have a meal. What was this? This was marketing changing the behavior of a consumer. Can you believe, is there any other field that is more powerful than this which can change the human behavior? I think the day I realized that is the day I fell in love with marketing, because I realized that I can do something that's more powerful, that's more impactful. Today, when I do a campaign, I don't think about, oh my God, is my ad looking great? Am I buying the best media? And do I have the best influencer? I think of, am I administering the change in the behavior of the consumer? Can I ask you to be more healthy? Can I ask you to be more aware? Can I ask you to travel more? Can I ask you to spend more? Can I ask you to eat certain things in a certain way? That power is the power that marketing holds with itself. And I think that's that's only when I realized this is when I started believing in the power of what we can do. Yeah, if that's a very powerful, game-changing thing that happened with me when I looked at marketing, especially for someone who came from a science background. Does that answer your question?
So,
Yeah.
myself, Anisha Sharma. I'm doing finance in specialization in finance MBA first year. My question is, how do you stay updated and inspired in such a fast evolving global landscape? As we are first year MBA students, when the placement sessions will start, the interviewer would expect us to know a lot about different random industries. So how would you guide us to stay updated, or what routine should we adapt?
अब तो आपके पास chat GPT भी है. You have the power of that particular thing. Yeah, see, my advice again will be that staying updated is not something that you need to do from a placement perspective. It is a survival skill. If you want to survive in the industry, you have to be more updated than the person sitting next to you. If you are not, you are obviously not then giving your best to your own destiny, not to anybody else, but to your own destiny. So therefore, my suggestion is that staying updating is almost like having oxygen every day, eating food every day. This is survival. So you have to stay updated. You have to go there and find out, why is there so much discussion happening around AI? What is happening in the world politics? What's happening with the world economy? How does this change the way I will do my business and stuff and all that? And therefore, it has to be only and only proactivity. Keeping you updated is not the responsibility of the institute or university. Keeping you updated is not the responsibility of the company that you will work for. It is your individual responsibility. And let me tell you, that is what will make you an amazing employee versus an average employee. So stay proactive and treat it as a life skill and a survival skill than just something that you do just, to talk to Chat GPT at some point of time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
There was a question here, yeah.
Good evening, sir. I'm Jessica Simran from BIMHRD Marketing. My question to you is, what are some skills that you would suggest would make me stand out if I want to go into branding?
Into branding? Okay. See, first thing probably is realization of the fact that branding in itself is not a job, right? Branding is a subset of marketing, right? You create brands so that you can take the brands to market, right? So branding is something that you can't go to a company and say, I want to do branding. You will obviously go and say, I want to be a marketer for your company, right? So that's the first. You will have to create that differentiation in your head that branding is a subset of overall marketing, right? Marketing has 4 Ps. Yeah? Give me those 4 Ps. Okay. Are there 7 Ps as well? What industries? Services. Great. Wow. That's nice. Okay. So, yeah, coming back to your point. So, branding is one of the things that we do among those 4 Ps, right? But in order to be, if you want to build your career in branding and that's the specialization you want to build, first, obviously, you need to have a good understanding of the visual aesthetics of the brand, right? So my suggestion would be you should start studying a lot more deeper into, have you guys heard of this book called How Brands Grow? Has anyone heard about it? No? That's the first book you should buy tomorrow morning. There's a book called How Brands Grow. It's written by this very, very, very popular Australian econometric scientist called Byron Sharp. Okay? You should buy that book, and that book gives you amazing thought process around how brands grow in the world, right? A lot of big companies use the principles of Byron Sharp to decide their marketing strategies and stuff. Again, debatable. Somebody else might tell you it's not, it's crap, but I'm telling you it's great because I have followed them. Yeah, so it's a very personal thing. So you should start therefore doing a bit more deeper understanding of these concepts, right? Uh, do you still have brand management as one of your courses, as one of your subjects? Yeah, go very deep into that. Understand how different brands operate, right? There is power brands, functional brands, all these kinds of brands that we talk about. Understand the essence of each of these things. And I would obviously also say that there's a very interesting thing that sometimes as marketeers we ignore. You should study the impact of color in marketing process. You know, a lot of work that we do as marketeers at times is based on the fact that how do certain colors of brands evoke different emotions with people. You know, when we do these logo designs, they are not just random. We don't just put red and yellow just randomly because we like them. There's a science behind that whole thing. So you should study more about this whole multi-sensory brand experience, which is around sight, which is around the smell of the brand, the physical touch of the brand, the audio, the sonic of the brand. So do a lot of deep dive around these aspects. I think you will get a good sense of what branding is all about. Branding is not about creating a logo. Yeah?
Uh, Good evening, sir. My name is Anvit Pedagaukar, and I am from Balaji Institute of Management and Human Resource Development, pursuing finance. So my question is, finance often focuses on numbers, and marketing adds a human touch or human angle in everything. So how do you see two working together in the real world, and what changes you have gone through with the same questions?
You know, my best friend in my company is my CFO. Marketing and finance are, I mean, this is, if you have to ever date somebody as a marketer, you should date a finance person, is what I would say. Yeah. So my best friend is CFO because today, and there are a couple of reasons on a serious note now. One, there is a huge focus on marketing effectiveness, okay? The real impact of what marketing really drives. And that is coming from the fact of the impact on business, the way you spend your marketing dollars and everything else. And a lot of insights and a lot of inputs that I get are from my CFO that come into me in terms of, you know, what levers I go to them and say, hey, here is what I'm planning to do. These are the levers I'm planning to move in our entire go-to-market place. And then I brainstorm with them on whether this will have impact on that because they can tell me mathematically, as you rightly said, in terms of what levers move. And obviously marketing is now a lot more commercial role. It is not no more a role where you just go and spend and buy an ad and just produce a certain campaign, right? It's a commercial role. You have to be accountable for driving sales, top line growth, bottom line growth, whatever your objectives are. So as a finance person, I would say be kind to marketing person in your company when you join a certain company, yeah? And try to partner with them. You can become a very big ally of their success. And as marketing person, I will tell you, make your best friends in finance for sure, because the amount of richness of insights and advice that I get from finance people is absolutely great. And obviously now the worlds are converging as well, right? And depending on which company you join, if you join a BFSI sector, obviously you will see that you will have a lot more active role to play in even the marketing decision making as well. And again, it depends on, therefore, what your dream company is or dream sector is, where you want to go. I think based on that, there will be a varied level of how actively you will work with marketing. Yeah?
Sir,
Where is?
sir, here. Sir, sir.
Acha, aap hain? Sorry.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Atharv. So my question is that if you were an MBA student again today, what skills would you focus on learning for your future?
For my future?
Sir, hypothetically.
Yeah, of course. I think right now, see again, which is what my thinking is, that there are certain fundamentals that don't change. They have never changed. I mean, again, I'm talking as a marketeer now. So fundamentals of consumer behavior, I would say that is basic. You need to go deeper into that. You need to understand the whole process of consumer behavior and how consumers interact with brands and how they buy them and why they buy them. But I think today I would definitely focus on few things. One is I would focus a lot on creativity and innovation. I don't think in our college time we were given enough impetus on innovation and creative thinking. There is always a lot of focus on studying the principles and fundamentals and everything. But when you actually join the corporate world, you realize that creativity is a big ask. You know, you are supposed to be creative. So maybe I would say I would focus a bit more skills on this entire ideation techniques and how I become creative. Have you guys done ever ideation sessions, ideation workshops? No? So you should go and check this particular technique called Insights Arrow. Okay, there's a technique called Insights Arrow, which talks about how you turn randomized data into actionable insights. It's a very beautiful process. I would say that's where I would have focused. I only learned it like 12 years down the line when I was working. But at my point, there was no focus on that particular piece. And of course, today, everybody needs to be great with data. I mean, even if you are not analyzing data, you need to be comfortable with data. You cannot go to a company and say, I hate data, right? So I would say these two things. Anyone else? We're good? What time are we on? This is way past your bedtime, that's why, right? But thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
So, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. I am Yajjan, junior student manager from BMHRD Finance, and my question is about your company. So, how is Mastercard adapting its marketing and communication strategy with the rapid growth and digital payments in fintech companies in this competition?
Sure. So I think a couple of things. One is obviously the definition of competition for us has changed, right? We don't just look at another company, another technology company that issues cards as our competition, because today, as a consumer, you have so many ways through which you make your payments, right? And obviously in India, it is a lot more complicated because you have UPI and you have so many different, you have wallets, you have QR codes, you don't just pay with your cards, right? So that's the first thing I would say. The definition of competition for us has expanded. While that has happened, as a company and as a marketing organization, we are very clear that our job in a consumer's life is not about giving you a credit card or a debit card, because we don't issue debit or credit cards. Banks issues them. They issue them on our technology, right? Our role as a marketing organization is to connect you as a consumer with your passion point. That is our differentiated value. So when I think of my job as a marketeer, I think of you as my consumer, and then I start thinking about what are your passion points? Do you like food? Do you like travel? Do you like music? Do you like entertainment, wellness? Then I start looking at how do I bring you closer to those passion points? And that process of bringing you closer could be by giving you great offers, bringing Lady Gaga to come and, giving you an access to her, or by bringing you to F1 and making you part of that entire F1 acceleration, creating great culinary menus with a lot of great restaurants and Michelin star chefs, or taking you to Tokyo Marathon and allowing you to run in the Tokyo Marathon, right? So our job, therefore, is to connect consumers with their passion points. And that's really the thing that I and my team, or largely at MasterCard, our marketing organization focuses on. It is about, there could be so much that can happen from a competitive landscape perspective, and it will keep evolving. Our job is to keep focusing on connecting our consumers with their passion points. That's really what I do in marketing. Yeah?
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words and valuable insights. Your journey truly reminds us that success begins with self belief and consistent effort.
Gratitude is not just a word, it's an emotion that connects hearts and fuels inspiration. To express a heartfelt thanks, I now invite student manager Piyush and Nandini to present a token of gratitude to Mr. Dheeraj Raina. And to bring this wonderful session to a close, I would like to invite student manager Tanvi to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shrishti and Athar. Good evening, everyone. I, Tanvi Garg, Junior Student Manager at BIM HRD, specializing in finance. It is truly an honor for me to deliver the vote of thanks on the behalf of Sri Balaji University, Pune. A heartfelt thank you to our esteemed guest, Mr. Dheeraj Raina, Senior Vice President and Head of Integrated Marketing and Communication, Southeast Asia at MasterCard, for gracing us with your presence and sharing such valuable insights. Your words were not only inspiring but also deeply thought-provoking, offering us practical perspective and clarity to our journey ahead. As we reflect on your talk, here are a few key takeaways that hold special relevance for us, like listening is the most important thing we have to adopt in life. Being corporate commanders is like leading a life of rigor and resilience. Last but not the least, absolutely enjoy the present moment and put your efforts in it. Sir, your presence made this event more impactful. Your journey and wisdom have left an lasting impression on us. As we close, let's carry forward the spirit of today with appreciation and purpose. Wishing you all a very great evening. Once again, thanking you for being with us today. We hope to have the privilege of welcoming you again in the future. Thank you, everyone.